Well, hello and welcome. I'm Kim Welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here. Congratulations. You have made your first step toward overcoming your fear of public speaking in the workplace. I'm the CEO and founder of Influential Voice, and today I'm going to share with you some methods that you can use so that you can express yourself confidently and clearly. So let's go on and get started. Today, I'm going to talk about how I take my clients from insecure to influential by helping them to overcome their fear of public speaking in the workplace. So let's see if you're in the right place. I believe you are. Is this you? Are you an accomplished professional? You know that you have a lot of substance. You have more brilliance to share than you currently do. You don't necessarily need the spotlight. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they say, I don't have to be in the spotlight. And they look at other people who take up everybody's time in a meeting with too much talking and they just don't want to be them, a spotlight hog. Or you desire maybe to remain authentic. I've had clients come to me and say, listen, I want to learn to communicate better, but I don't want to change my personality. And absolutely, you do not need to change your personality. Just become a better and bigger version of yourself. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Why is this important to you right now? Well, maybe you are tired of your fears holding you back. You know that you would be more respected, and if you could present yourself more confidently, you would be ready for people to see you. And it is so important that we are not invisible when we're at work. Sometimes people think that their work will speak for itself. And you know what? In a perfect world, that's true, but in the real world, not so much. Besides being able to do a bang-up job, you have to be visible. You know that the fear of public speaking may have marginalized your professional persona. I've had clients come to me and say, listen, I probably could have been promoted. I had this one lady who said to me, I probably could have been a manager by now, but I just don't like speaking up when I'm in meetings, and I don't like giving presentations. But if I had done that years ago, I probably would have been promoted. You know you're bigger than the way you come across. You don't like the way you represent yourself when all eyes are on you. And that's, when you do give a presentation and you just want to get it over with, and you don't represent yourself the way you really would like to. I know I had a client, a high-level executive, very smart, very intelligent, obviously. But when she had to give presentations in front of large audiences where the people didn't know her, she said that she always felt like she underrepresented herself. And that may be you. You're ready to take your career to the next level. And there's more that you want to express, but you're sitting on it because your nerves get the best of you. You may have dreams to accomplish, and they do require you to come out of your shell. Maybe you can see yourself possibly giving interviews on your expertise, or participating in, right now we're in COVID-19 and all that's going on. And now these virtual platforms have exploded. And maybe you can see yourself in virtual summits and things like that, taking advantage of these opportunities to speak, to advance your career, but you're a little too nervous to do it. Or you just don't feel like you're going to come across the way you want to come across. So we're going to deal with that today. Imagine if you could confidently express your thoughts to small and large groups of people. Imagine if others could see how much substance you really have. If you were recognized for the leader that you really are. You know, it's the people who speak up that get labeled as being leaders. And they're not necessarily always the ones with the most substance. Imagine if you could confidently share your ideas and move into all that you know that you were created to be. The purpose of this course on mastering your inner game to overcome your public speaking fears is to shift your mindset, to break through what's holding you back, teach you to use your physiology even, explain to you how you can work alongside me to gain confidence, to overcome your fears and star on that corporate stage, or step into whatever it is that you have in your heart to do. So who am I? Who is this woman? That's me. I've successfully coached middle managers sent to me by big companies such as Atlantis, commercial banks, offshore banks, insurance companies, even government entities. I've worked with public figures. I've even helped a very shy Miss Universe contestant to overcome her fears to snag the crown. So I've got some experience in this. I'm a singer and recording artist. I'm a trained voice actor, keynote speaker, and my background is in sales and marketing. I also spend a whole lot of time devouring information on the power of the mind. Now, as you know, sales and marketing does require honed in communication skills, and so does being a trained voice actor. Of course, that's all about being able to speak clearly and being able to make people feel a certain way just by the way you use your voice. And singing as a performing artist requires you to be able to engage an audience and command a stage. Well, these are the disciplines that I draw from to help my clients star on the corporate stage. Today, I'm going to share some secrets about why you may be fearful and how you can conquer that fear. When I started Influential Voice, I had to learn to deconstruct skills where I was unconsciously competent. I knew I wanted to help others. And I started out by helping people with the sound of their voice, the way they speak, their body language, and word choices. Then I realized that there is a serious importance in the power of the mindset. As I said, I am an ongoing student of the power of your mind. Companies started asking me to coach their people one-on-one, and I realized that a huge component always came into play, and that was mindset, your inner game. The way we communicate is totally predicated on our inner game. Totally. So, for example, I had a client who was sent to me because she managed a team and she tended to be very rough with them, and that was causing a problem. They were not responding to her the way they needed to be to perform. And after spending some time with her, I found out that she grew up in a family where she said she always had to do everything for herself and she had to fight for everything that she had. Nobody ever gave her anything. And so she took this into the workplace, not realizing that what once served her was not serving her in this current position. So that's what happens to us. We wind up communicating based on the way we're thinking inside about ourselves. I had a young lady who, she would speak really hard and loud, and she always had to try to get all of her words out before anybody could say anything to interrupt her, only to find out that's how she grew up. She grew up feeling like she wasn't heard as a child. So whatever we're thinking about begins to play out. And this thinking about is really subconscious. So it's not something that you're usually conscious of. the inner game. That's what we're going to talk about. I'd like you to get a pen or pencil and a piece of paper and write out the answers to these questions. Describe how you see public speaking. How do you view public speaking? Describe how you feel physically when you're preparing to speak. In other words, what happens to you physically? Some people say that their palms sweat. What happens to you? Describe how you see yourself as a speaker. All right, put this video on pause and answer those questions, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now, whatever you tell your mind, believe me, that's what it believes on a subconscious level. So why is this important? This is key, key, key. It's important because we are often saying things that we don't necessarily want. In other words, we may label ourselves as, let's say, shy. If you call yourself shy, how do you think you will communicate? What happens to people when they've labeled themselves in a certain way? So let's use the shy. You know, sometimes a little kid is in a situation, you know, just imagine, you're just a little kid. You might be 3 years old. You're holding on to your mom's dress tail, and you meet one of her friends who's a stranger to you. And your mother says, say hi, say hello to Miss So-and-so. And you're standing behind her legs, just being a regular child. And your mom or the friend says, oh, your mom says, you know, he's shy, she's shy. And you hear that and you decide to take on that label and then live it out. Well, you've labeled yourself, and once you tell yourself this is what I am, it is exactly what you are. So I've had so many clients come to me and tell me they're shy. And the first thing that we have to do is find a new label, because shy is certainly not empowering. So the first thing that we're going to do is reframe. Reframe the way you see public speaking. Reframe the way you see yourself. Only you hold the power, and you can actually decide what you want your mind to believe. You decide that. So we have to be so careful. A lot of times what's happening is you are replaying things from the past, experiences from the past. So let's say you had an opportunity to speak and it didn't go so well for you. At least you didn't feel great about it. Let's say you forgot what you wanted to say. Now when the next opportunity comes up, you say things like, I always forget what to say, my mind goes blank. Well, if you keep repeating that to yourself, then your mind believes that's what's supposed to happen when you have the opportunity to speak, and it begins to play that out. What is the story that you've been telling yourself? We're going to reframe that story, because whatever your story is what you truly believe, and it's written on your subconscious, which is like downloading a computer program. So I'd like you to look at that piece of paper where you answered those questions, and we're going to reframe by flipping it. We're going to flip those answers into questions and use questions that are empowering. So instead of asking yourself something like, suppose I mess up. You know, maybe you have written on that paper, I always mess up, or I always forget, or, you know, I start sweating. Whatever the case may be, my mouth gets dry, my voice shakes. Instead of asking yourself, suppose I mess up, or suppose my mind goes blank, or suppose I bore my audience, I want you to flip those questions to more empowering ones. Like, suppose I surprise myself this time. Suppose I blow. Suppose they love it. The second thing that you're going to do is appreciate. In other words, instead of looking at being asked to present at the next meeting at work as some horrible punishment and task, see it as a compliment. Appreciate the fact that they asked you to speak. That means that you're probably seen as an expert in some way. They feel like you have value to share. That's why they asked you. So instead of being upset about it and saying, why they pick me? Why they pick somebody else? I don't like giving presentations. Instead of going into that rant, appreciate the fact that you were even asked. If you're asked to give some type of report on your department or on something that is happening, listen, maybe they're asking you to do it because they feel like you may know more than everybody else about this subject. You are the expert. How does it feel to be an expert? That should feel different. When you feel different, you perform differently. The third thing you can do is ask a quality question. A quality question would be, instead of, why they always have to ask me? Here's a quality question. What good could come out of this? What good could come out of this? Well, you can do well and be seen totally differently. You could do well and all of a sudden get the attention of your seniors. You could do well and now your name is at top of mind when they start talking about people to promote. Ask yourself a quality question as opposed to some negative question that's not going to serve you. So go back to your questions now that you wrote the answers to. And I want you to reframe, flip what you've written into something that's positive, something that's going to serve you instead of hurt you when it's your turn to speak. How has this helped you today? I have here, type it in the chat, but you can send me an email if this has helped you in any way. But use this the next time you have to speak. Use this the next time someone calls on you. Use this the next time you're sitting in a meeting and you get caught off guard and they ask you a question. Get your head in the game. Start working on your inner game, your mindset. When you think differently, you will feel different and you will perform differently. I take my clients from insecure to influential by helping them to master their inner game. And I give them practical methods so they can use those and pull their thoughts together quickly and communicate with polish and presence. I don't think I actually read that right. I give them practical methods that they can use to pull their thoughts together quickly and communicate with polish and presence. Absolutely. If you're having a problem reframing what you're thinking, let's weigh in on it. And if you think that you would like personal coaching to help you overcome your fear of public speaking, as well as teach you practical frameworks that you can use to speak clearly and confidently, I want you to give me a call. In the email that you received, you will see a link to my calendar. Let's chat. Let's have a discovery call, about 15 minutes, and let me see whether or not I can possibly assist you with your goals. Thanks so much for downloading this little mini course. I hope that you found it helpful, and I hope to hear from you.